Okay. I think we're live now. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Immigrant Techies Network, Techies 15 Live, our weekly live podcast. It's our community virtual water cooler moment, like we like to call it. So it's an opportunity to hear from people that are building in the ecosystem, that are solving one problem or the other, or that are, talking about their own career, how they've built their own lives, their own careers. So it's just our way of bringing cool people and chatting with them. And today, our cool person is Tracy Nyholz, the founder of Tech Jitsu. Thank you, Tracy, for coming.
For having me, Wumi.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thanks you also to everyone that has joined us watching live on LinkedIn, or you're going to watch it later, or on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, Tracy, can we hear a little bit about yourself? What is your background, and how did you get here?
Yeah, so I'm currently founder and CEO of Tech Jitsu, a local cybersecurity company that secures help desks and call centers. And I got here unconventionally. I
Mm, we
studied,
like unconventional journeys. We like to hear that because many immigrant journeys are very unconventional. Like there are many pivots and reinventions. So it's really inspiring when we hear stories that are not linear. So yeah, tell us more.
I came from an English literature background and really taught myself IT by learning reading manuals to start with. And then once I got my first entry level jobs at the help desk, I would ask people the next level up if they could teach me what they knew, and they would usually say no. And I would offer to document their jobs, let them pass it off as their own work, and that's how I learned.
Oh,
And
wow.
like some of your listeners, I had the immigrant experience too. I moved at one point to Germany and to
Mm,
Australia, so I've lived abroad a few times and managed to take my cybersecurity career with me.
that's awesome. That's cool. So your company, you work in the identity protection asset protection, right? Identity management. Is that what it is?
Yeah, identity management. So essentially, when you call the help desk, they need to verify you. Traditionally, that's done with security questions, which are one, not very secure, and B, usually annoy the person who's calling. So we enable your existing multi-factor authentication to be used to verify you are who you say you are. So we
Mm-hmm.
enterprise clients.
So when I was looking at your profile, I was thinking about, I'm like, okay, identity management. It doesn't sound cool. Like, it's core, but it doesn't sound cool. So how would you make it sound cool? How would you how would you talk about how cool it is to be secure? Like, how would you how would you frame that?
I've never been asked that. That's a really good question.
No, like I just feel like if you wanted to say get a I have a 12-year-old daughter. So how do you get her excited about identity management?
I think I would say, those guys who pretend they're Elvis? Well, there's people out there who are pretending to you when they call your bank or call the tax authority or, interact with an organization, and you don't want to let them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, totally. So where is this all, does it all fit into the bucket of cybersecurity, or how do they interact?
Yeah. So I think cybersecurity has become a very big bucket. And within that big bucket, there's smaller specialties, and identity and access management is one of those specialties.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How does one get into that arm of cybersecurity? So if you wanted to become a cybersecurity professional, but you want to specialize in identity management, what do you do differently?
So there's no clear path. I got in because I knew someone who got me a help desk job at an identity company. And then I learned, identity concepts, and then later became an implementer and an architect and eventually an entrepreneur. But there's also alternate paths. There's a lot of, companies like, Okta or Microsoft or Google in the identity spaces that have certification programs. So you could take those certifications as a way to get in. But really, like any career, it's you probably starting at the bottom and working your way up.
And entrepreneurs are, it's like a calling, right? You feel that there's a gap somewhere and it gnaws at you and gnaws at you, and you're like, dang it, I gotta fix this, right? Like, so what was that like for you? What made you take that leap from working in identity management? What gap did you see that you felt you had to create something for?
Yeah. So I think a lot of immigrants have this experience as well, where there's that burning in your stomach where you want to do better and be better. And I think I've always had that, and that pushed me to be an entrepreneur. And then once we got into having the business and implementing multi-factor authentication for banks and credit unions, one of our clients asked us, "Hey, what about our call center?" And we realized we could extend identity concepts to the call center and make a whole new product and really disrupt the industry, because there's been no disruption in the call center industry really since caller ID back in the 80s. So
Mm.
a great opportunity to come in and do something innovative and secure.
So who are you? Who's your biggest competition?
So we're lucky that we don't have a lot of competitors yet. Most companies are still using legacy security questions, so we consider that our competition. There are a few companies that are using voice verification, but because AI can now mimic anyone's voice with a three,
Mm-hmm.
that's no longer secure.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. So how is AI rocking your world?
it's rocking it in a good way, I guess, for me, because all these impersonators, these bad Elvises out there, are impersonating you on a video call or on a phone call because they have a sample of your voice, and we can offer a solution to that by
How
using.
how how does that work? How do you differentiate your voice when it's you talking than when AI mimics your voice? What technology is there? What do you use to do that?
So there's products like Microsoft has one called Valley. So essentially, it could listen to this Techies Live podcast, and it could take a sample of your voice or my voice, and then it could call one of our banks and say, hey, this is Woomi, and it would be in your voice, and the bank would be Woomi's authentication, check, because they've implemented voice verification. And then they could ask for a password reset to your bank account, go online and drain your money. So
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm saying. So you say you have a way of stopping that from happening,
yes.
even when they have a sample of your voice.
Yeah. So what we implement is essentially what's called a possession-based factor. So something you have, so like an app on your phone or a UV,
Mm,
and we can use those second factors to verify you are who you say you are, because you have the thing that the bad actor impersonating you doesn't have.
right, right. So there's no way to hear some modulation in the voice or some kind of frequency that shows this is artificially generated versus how that person speaks. We're not there yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, AI is getting so good that
Yeah.
verify can't differentiate. So I would recommend not using your voice as a authentication method. It's
Right, right, right.
not secure anymore.
So how has being an entrepreneur been like for you in terms of what mindset shift had to happen for you transitioning from working for someone into becoming an entrepreneur? What had to change?
A lot. I was definitely not I definitely didn't have all the skills I needed, or the mindset, to your point, that I needed. So I think I was good at doing, and then I hired some other people.
Mm,
And then from there, I learned that doing wasn't enough. I had to present a vision and get everyone to buy into the vision, and also, show people a growth path and a career path. If you want someone to work for you and give your best for you, you've got to show them a path where they can be the best them they can be, and be supporting them along the way. So it was quite a mindset change. Particularly, I'm a single person, so I've never had children, and now I have to think about being responsible for people, and
mm.
that was quite a shift.
Yeah, being responsible for people is definitely a game changer because you now you think about how your whatever decision you make, if it's positive, it's helping people, but if it's negative, then you're cutting people, you're cutting mortgages, and that sometimes it's a heavy way to bear.
Very heavy. You have to think about every risk you take, what happens
Mm-hmm.
work out, because it impacts everyone, not just you. But you
Mm-hmm.
also are motivated to take some risks that could pay off, because you're like, hey, this could really, be good for everyone. We could, create something where we can maybe work 4 days a week, or, have
Mm.
a better financial outcome for everyone.
Yeah. So one challenge we face with people that are pivoting into cybersecurity or just learning it afresh is it's hard to find internship
Yes.
compared to, other tech trainings where you can have something that's not core to the business for you to practice on. But when it's cybersecurity, we're talking about vulnerable, sensitive systems. So how would you advise people that maybe have done a cybersecurity diploma, or they've self-taught themselves like you did, but they need to get their hands wet? What do you think they should do? Where should they be looking?
I always recommend that people look at volunteering, because even if you
Yeah,
can't,
even with volunteering,
yeah,
it what we've seen is companies are just wary of opening up their system to someone that's volunteering. You get what I mean? So what have you seen that works? Or what do you offer in your organization?
yeah, so you actually can't volunteer for a company. The labor laws prohibit it. You have to pay people, but you can volunteer for like a nonprofit, or another organization in an unpaid role that way, and that will get you
Mm-hmm.
experience. And chances are, when you're volunteering, you might also be side by side with someone who is
It's
in a
already, yeah.
who's really getting known and getting your name out there. Volunteering for any of the cybersecurity conferences, like my team and I volunteered at Besides this year, and we met a lot of students who are volunteering as well, and it was a good opportunity to get to know them and know their personalities, and that you know makes us more likely to hire them in the future.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's totally helpful. Because they ask me this question every time. I'm like, yeah. Like of course you volunteer, and I know there are some organizations that have been able to simulate cybersecurity instances for
Mhm.
people to work on to get more practice. But yeah, that has been a challenge. So is there anything more you'd like to tell us about Tech Jitsu that I have not asked?
Yeah, I think we're just really looking to innovate, and we do have some newcomer talent on our team as well. So we hired a paralegal who's got a law degree from Sri Lanka that didn't translate over here. He's been really helping us with our contracts. We've also hired a young man from India who had a computer science degree from India, and then took a top up program at SAIT. And I would really encourage other employers to look at newcomer talent, because often there's a lot of diamonds in the rough that just
Mm-hmm.
had that first opportunity, to your point, because that's so hard to come by.
Yeah, totally. And so if one more thing I wanted to ask. I like to ask this. How have you found building in Calgary in Alberta? You are in Calgary based? Yeah, sorry. So how has it been for you building in Calgary? What supports are out there? How have you been able to connect to lots of support? How would you encourage other people that are still on the edge of whether to start their own ventures or not?
Yeah, I think Calgary is one of the best places to start a business. We're really, really lucky. We have Platform Calgary, which is
Mm-hmm.
a facility, but also just a place for the community to get together. They have things like Tech Thursdays, where talent can meet companies. So that's something that some of your listeners might be
Like
interested.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so something your listeners might be interested in going to connect with employers.
Mm-hmm.
They just really give you a lot of support. There's also some grants, both federally and provincially. There's a lot of what are called incubators, where you go in with your business and you get access to professionals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've had a lot of support in
So you've
Calgary.
been able to enjoy it. some of those. That's great. Great to know. Because I find sometimes a lot of people are just white knuckling it, not being aware of some of these resources that are available. So it's great to talk about communities and resources that you've been able to employ. All right. So we like to try as much as possible to keep it short because this is people's lunch. They're probably watching us while munching on a sandwich or something. So so where can people find you? How if people want to know more about your company or even hear more of your story, what's the best way to reach out?
You can find us on callerverified.com, or you can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. It's Tracey, Tracey, Nyholt, Nyholt.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracey. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for everyone watching. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thanks, Rumi.